Good afternoon, family. Let's see if this is working here. So, trying this again. Good afternoon, family. Thanks for checking out today's video. I think I started a video incorrectly or something here, but thanks for checking out today's video. If you are new here, my name is Jonathan, and I created this channel as a way to record my progress as I work towards my goal of losing 300 pounds in 3 years. If you'd like to join the family, hit that subscribe button down below. Also, click on the bell icon so you get alerted when I go live or post new videos. If you'd like to participate on the discussion like Rick and Cindy here, you can join me most weekdays where I go live around 4 p.m. Central Time, or outside of my live stream, you can consider joining the Discord I created. There's a link for that down in the description below. Also down in the description below is a link to a Pinterest board. A lot of times people ask me what kind of food I'm eating on my diet, and that Pinterest board is a great place to see a lot of those meals and get some ideas for meals for yourself. Today is day 741, I believe, of my 3-year challenge to lose 300 pounds. I've used a combination of extended water fasting and a whole food, plant-based, salt, oil, sugar-free diet to lose almost 230 pounds so far. I'm looking forward to reaching my goal and living out the rest of my life at a healthy weight. If anybody has any non-scale victories, I'd love to hear your non-scale victories. If you have any on-scale victories, I love hearing about those as well. If you're struggling with your diet, what's causing your struggles? If you're succeeding with your diet, what are you doing to succeed? And at the end of the day, I feel like it's all about what are you doing to make staying on your diet easier than the alternative. Couple switch over to the main here. Couple comments. Rick saying good afternoon and happy Friday. We salute our veterans on this special day. Yes, today is Veterans Day. So we do salute our vets today. Cindy says hi, and Plant Powered Peddler saying hi to everybody. Carrie is driving to the grocery store to pick up some food and listening. Let's see. And get going for today. It's been a good day, busy day. Super active today. I think it was yesterday's live stream that I was talking about just being more active in general, and I was definitely more active today than I am on most days. In fact, I can probably look. I'm already at 9,600 steps for the day, which is pretty high for me for just being working in an office. But yeah, super busy today. We got up early this morning. My son is in Boy Scouts, and one of the things that his troop does is for a fundraiser is they put up flags in the town that we live in, so that on the there's 5 different holidays that the town has lots of flags, and it's very patriotic. It's really nice looking when a lot of the flags are up. And some of the neighborhoods, every house on the street has a flag, and it looks really nice when it's all set up. But that meant I was up early this morning, and that's why I have so many steps, is because I was up at 6 a.m. this morning. And I was out running, and it was cold today. Yesterday it was like 70 degrees, and today it was half of that. It was like 35 degrees. There was ice on the ground in some places. Plant Powered Peddler says, way to go with the steps, John. You're heading out for a bike ride. Well, good luck on your bike ride. I hope it's nice weather to be out riding a bike where you're at. It would not be fun to ride a bike outside today. But yeah, we were up early, and as much as I wanted to avoid having to do any work or running around, I ended up doing lots of running around, making sure that the kids were able to get the flags into these receivers that they have in the yards to put them into. And one of the things that was noticeable about this time putting flags up is that it's been a very long time since we did it last. We do it 5 times throughout the year, and I think the first 4 times happen by the 4th of July, and then they don't do another flag until this one. And so there was lots of overgrowing yards, and it was much more difficult, but was up moving around. And 2 years ago, I would have absolutely dreaded the idea of doing this at all, and avoided it probably at any cost. But I was happy to be out there and working with the kids. One of the things that I definitely felt like was nice was my ability to show these kids how to get their hands a little bit dirty and kind of work on this stuff, because they would just as soon stand there and watch somebody do it, or struggle to clean out the receiver in order to not get a little dirty. And so it was nice to be a good example, and I'm able to be that good example because I've lost all the weight that I lost, and that is really nice. And those are little things that I who knows if I would have noticed, I wouldn't have noticed missing doing that this morning. But the ability for me to be able to go out and do that and get that done is really awesome. And it's rewarding that I was able to do it, especially in comparison to where I was a couple years ago. Let me go over and see what I had taken for photos of food here. And I don't think I have too many photos of food because I did not eat a ton of food today. I've been very busy, but last night we had one of our favorites. It is the polenta with white beans and mushrooms. I absolutely love this dish, and that was dinner last night. Carrie had made a double batch of it, and I had 2 servings of it. I don't think I took a photo of the second serving that I took, but I did think I did get a real close-up one. Here's that smell-o-vision photo for you if anybody wants an up-close photo there. But yeah, it was it's always a wonderful dinner, and it was great to have that last night. And thinking about it now, I should have taken it to work for leftovers today. I'm guessing Carrie probably ate it at home. Oh shoot, you guys don't need to see all my apps on my phone and how many messages I don't look at. Carrie says a couple years ago that she would probably be the one that's doing it, and she is thankful that she got to sleep in this morning. Yes, you are lucky. Your alarm didn't even go off, I don't think, or you slept right through it, because she wasn't conscious when I got up and left this morning. Cindy says that you made a black bean soup by Monkey and Me Kitchen Adventures, and it was yummy. It was delicious. That's great to hear. Carrie says that there is some of the polenta left over, which is nice. That might be something good for tonight. My bit rate went to crap here. I don't know what's going on. I hope the stream is coming through well on your guys' end, but my computer likes to let me know that things are not going well. Let's see. A couple things I wanted to talk about. Well, the first thing I want to talk about was the difficulty, how difficult it is to be a healthy weight in the world that we live in now. Calorie density is something that has become very important to me, and has been a big part of why my diet has succeeded, is because I've lowered the density of the calorie density of the food that I eat. In the past, I never considered calorie density. I did consider calories, but never density. I was never combining the calorie aspect with the volume aspect. It was always just a concern about the calories. And it is, and there's lots of, wonderful options to eat low calorie versions of all these foods. But what, I was thinking about the other day when I went grocery shopping, and Carrie is grocery shopping now, or she went to the grocery store now. And something that I've tried to express to people that were asking about advice and about things. And one of the ideas or the things that I feel like people need to have expressed to them, or that they need to understand, is that obesity and being overweight is somewhat, it's not your fault that you are overweight necessarily. There's so much that goes into it. And one of the things that goes into it is the fact that we are surrounded by food. We evolved from thousands and thousands and tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands and maybe even millions of years. We evolved in a world of food scarcity. Everything, and for many animals, there still is a lot of food scarcity out there, but for humans, we don't really have to worry about that in many societies, about this food scarcity. We always have access to some form of food. When our ancestors evolved, that food that was scarce was, not only was the food scarce, but it was also much lower calories than in density than the food that we eat or we see now. So we evolved in a world where you were barely getting enough food to eat. And then when you did get the food to eat, you were lucky if that food was 1,000 calories per pound. But most of the food was more than likely way under that. And so that is how we're wired. We're wired to be born in that world. But we don't live in that world anymore. We live in a world where we have all kinds of food, and we have access to an amazing amount of food. And what has happened over time is that we've not only been surrounded by food, so we don't have to worry about the scarcity of it, but the calorie density of the food that we now are surrounded by every year goes higher and higher and higher. And so when you walk into a grocery store, if you were to take all of the food items that are in the grocery store and you added them all up and you divided them by the weight, and you found out what the average calorie density of all of the food that was in the store, that calorie density would be much higher than what you would see in nature. But it's also much higher than what we even saw 30 years ago, probably even a decade ago. But especially, 100 years ago. If you went into a grocery store 100 years ago, the calorie density of the food that was on those shelves is much lower than the calorie density that's on the shelves now when we go to the store. And as a consumer, we don't know everything about every product that we go to buy. And we a lot of times leave the worrying about whether or not it's healthy or safe or appropriate to other people. We have all these other governing bodies that decide these things, or we assume that the grocer would only have high quality products. And when we go into the store, we're going to grab things randomly. But as a population, if you're that population is going to take everything from that store. There might be some things you take more than others, but because the calorie density of the grocery stores is increasing, the calories consumed by the population buying from those grocery stores is also going up as a result. And then that turns in to extra weight on our bodies. So really, I guess the big point of this is that it's that if you've become overweight, if you've gotten to the point where you have a lot of excess weight on your body, that it is, there's so much of it that is your environment that you're surrounded by, or that you allow yourself to be surrounded by. When you walk into a grocery store, the calorie density is one level. But I bet if you walk into a gas station and you added up all of the calories and divided it by weight, the calorie density in the gas station is far higher than it is at the grocery store. And there's lots of people out there that are buying their meals at gas stations, or they're buying snacks at gas stations. And so you're surrounded by, you're a place that technically only needs to sell you fuel, because that's all you really need it for, but it has all these other things there for you to buy. And it's hard to resist that temptation. You think your body says, hey, I'm hungry. Your mind goes to, what's the fastest, highest dopamine response food that I can get right now? And that gas station's filled with all kinds of crap food. And so it makes it tough to combat that, or to go up against it. And so just being aware that our environment is, the environment that we are in has changed over the decades and centuries, really. That it's getting to a point now where the natural outcome of what we put into our grocery stores is an obese population, because if you took the calorie density of the grocery store, that calorie density, if given to everybody, is going to produce overweight people. It's really rough. Cindy here says that she's been reading How Not to Diet by Dr. Greger. It's a great book, very long. And people have been eating the same amount of food, but the calorie density is so much higher now, leading to obesity. Yes, that's the biggest part of this whole diet, this whole volume eating, is that we are designed to eat a volume of food. That's what it is. And your volume of food is different than my volume of food. But I would be willing to put money that if somebody is obese, their volume of food is generally on the high end of that bell curve. And if somebody is underweight, the volume of food that they need to eat to get satisfied is on the low end of the bell curve of the whole population of what people eat. And so it is a natural product of what these companies are producing and they're putting in front of us. And they're putting the food in front of us for lots of different reasons. Many of those reasons revolve around monetary gain on their end, but we have to keep paying attention and we have to fight it. And the biggest thing that we can do is to eat a large volume of food, make sure you're buying low calorie dense foods, and you're running around with a full stomach. Because if you're running around with a full stomach, then you aren't going to have that hungry signal in your brain that says, hey, we're hungry. And then your brain goes to whatever the fastest, easiest thing is. And if you do get that signal from your brain that says you're hungry and you feel like you can't do anything but give in to that, if your stomach's full, you're only going to have so much space for the junk food. And so it's going to help you to eat less of that and then go back to eating the high volume food. Cindy says, to reach a 2,000 calorie intake, you won't feel full eating the higher density foods with fat and sugar. Yeah, I would eat over 2,000 calories for a breakfast, and that would barely satisfy me till lunch. And that was every single day. And there's so much more to not just the calorie density of that food, but the chemicals that were in it and the addictive properties that those chemicals might produce, or the dopamine response that your body sends out when it gets oil and gets high fat foods is very hard to combat. And it's been great for me to be able to see kind of past a lot of this marketing that's happening and to understand that, you know, a lot of the gimmicks that are on these diet programs and these diet plans, they're money making gimmicks for the manufacturer. They're not weight loss success tips. And unfortunately, some diets, there's not money to be made, so it's hard to get people to recommend like this diet. There's not really a program that somebody could put out there that would really make them much money, because there's nothing really proprietary about the blends of food that we eat, or the way, you know, the way we eat. You know, anybody can grow potatoes, anybody can have carrots and broccoli and these things. And there's nothing that makes one head of broccoli far superior to another head of broccoli, you know, whereas with these foods, they are able to portray different levels of quality and different levels of satiation. Right. And Cindy says you can't make money on fruits and vegetables. They can't, you know, like the fruit itself, the fruit sells itself, and you have to be able to grow as good a looking fruit as anybody else. And fruit is definitely, you know, I'm sure that there is some engineering that's happened to fruit to get it to be as big and bright and luscious as the fruit that we see in the grocery store. But, you know, I'd rather us do the work to do that, because they're doing the same thing in the animal and agriculture, figuring out how to make it the biggest, the fattest, the tastiest for people. And it costs those animals their lives. At least an orange isn't sentient. Anyways, so yeah, they can't make money on fruits and vegetables. So just if you can avoid those high calorie dense aisles in the grocery store, I think that is huge, you know. And if you can stay in the produce section, you know, there's lots of food that's very good for you in the produce section of the store. The last thing that I was going to talk about today was an interesting experience I had at the store. I went to a store to pick up some items today, and I guess not interesting experience, but just kind of a reflection into my past, maybe is the best what it is. Cindy says, what is your perspective on eating nuts and seeds? If you're trying to lose weight, eating as few nuts and seeds as possible is going to help you with losing weight. I am not against eating nuts and seeds. I'm not against eating anything that is a whole food plant-based product. You can eat avocados, you can eat cashews and almonds. All those things I think are great foods to eat. If you're trying to lose weight, they make it very difficult to lose weight. And then a lot of times they take those seeds and they process them too, you know, or those nuts like peanuts. Like if just eating peanuts is kind of bad, eating peanut butter, even if it's all just peanuts, is going to create a higher calorie dense food. And it's going to be a food that your body can absorb easier because it's been processed a little bit. So I'm okay with eating nuts and seeds. I have had some cashews and almonds in the past few weeks, so I'm not avoiding nuts and seeds 100%. We use them more like for recipes, like to make like a sauce with, or to put into a dish. Because again, having cashews out, you know, to grab can be very overly tempting, and it slows down weight loss. And so that's, you know, that's what my perspective on the nuts and seeds would be. So the other thing I was going to talk about was going to the store today. We went to the store and I was looking to get some items and I needed some help. And I went over to like kind of where the customer service was at the store, and there was a guy sitting down at his desk, and I asked him for help, and he was helping me. But what struck me about the guy was how overweight he was. He was um, probably a very similar weight to what I was when I started this. I would guess that he would be a 500-pound person, or that he was 500 pounds. Obviously, everybody carries their weight differently, but he was a very large guy. And he helped us out. He was very friendly, very nice, very helpful. Kind of how I guess I would uh, probably have perceived myself and held myself and helped a customer when I was at his weight. But it was really kind of eye-opening for me to just kind of to think about how difficult that guy must be having it to even help me out, to get up, to come help me with getting this stuff off the shelf. And that and he was in a job that's, customer related, customer service. He's up on his feet far more than I would be on my feet in a day. And just kind of the difficulty of that, and just how happy I am that I've gotten away from having to deal with just the burdens of carrying that extra 230 pounds. That's just a wild amount of weight. Like 230 pounds is just, that's more than I'm gonna weigh when I get done with this. Like that's, again, I'm going to I've lost more weight now than I will weigh at my goal weight now. And I still have 70 pounds to lose. But just the getting up, and just the act of standing up with 200 extra pounds. And then today I was working on one of our trucks. I was doing all kinds of random stuff today. I had to crawl underneath one of our box trucks today, and I was way up underneath this truck, and kind of I had to crawl on my back and shimmy and go under a gas tank, and it was just all kinds of just um I couldn't have done that 2 years ago. I not even close. Like it wouldn't have even been a, uh, anywhere near that ability to do that. Um, and it's just nice to be free of that weight. And a lot of times I'll go and I'll grab something and I'll pick it up to carry it. And well, I guess the thing I noticed the most, like when I carry my kids, um, I think about that. I could carry at least three of my kids. I don't know, maybe all four of them are less than the amount of weight I lost, but three of my kids, I could put them on my back and I would still be lighter than I was when I started this whole project. And I'm just so grateful that I have I've gotten away from that. And I hope for that person that he's able to find something that works for him and to lose weight, because um and I just think about, like I said, I think about myself, um and where my head space was when I was over 500 pounds and I didn't want to listen to anybody. And I was doing fine. There was nothing wrong with me being as big as I was. I was still active, I was still working, I was still doing things. But in reality, I was kind of active. I was kind of doing things. I was kind of helpful, but I wasn't actually 100% any of those things. So, but yeah, I'm happy to have lost the weight I lost, and I'm looking forward to getting the weight off I have yet to go. Like that's really, that last 70 pounds is um, gonna be where I truly think the biggest difference in my body build is gonna shine. I mean, it's gonna be the toughest weight to lose, and it has been tough to lose the last 30 of this final 100. But it's nice to be working towards it and it going the right direction. Tennis and Yoga Girl says, "I'm happy for you. Keep up the good work." Yeah, I appreciate it. Um it's been so much easier than I thought it was going to be too. Like I wish I could get that across. Like The difficulty has been making sure I'm full, making sure I'm eating. Like right now I'm frustrated because I didn't have a good lunch, but I am, I got big plans of eating lots of food when I have the opportunity to here. But I'm so happy to be uh, well on my way so far. And so I think with that, I am going to get out of here tonight. Got kind of a busy evening, getting ready for the weekend here. And then we have decently busy weekend, I think. Not too much, yeah, a little bit going on tomorrow. But I appreciate all of you guys following along and encouraging me and all the great comments and the people that check out my live stream. I appreciate you guys very much. I am looking forward to the weekend, and hopefully it warms up a bit, but it's going to be cold. So if you're in the cold climate, stay warm. If you're in the warm climate, stay cool. And I'm going to get out of here. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, get subscribed to the channel. If you haven't clicked the bell icon, click the bell icon. And if you haven't hit the thumbs up on the video, hit the thumbs up on the video. And finally, if you have not started your diet yet, get started now. There's nothing coming up that's more important than your health and your overall well-being. Nobody gets to their goal weight, looks back and says, man, I don't know why I was so eager to get started. Everybody who reaches their goals looks back and says, I wish I would have started sooner. I wish I would have known how good I was going to feel. I would never have hesitated. So get started now. You don't need to wait till Monday. Get started today. Get the junk food out of your cupboards. Fill it with potatoes and rice and beans and lots of wonderful whole food plant-based meals. You guys all have a wonderful evening or weekend. Have a great weekend.